Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Andrew TCG with a new video for you guys. Today we're talking about side decking. Ravensburg introduced a side deck for the world format, and I just asked the Disney Lorcana TCG fans if what do you think about the side decking in Constructed. So we are going to read some comments. My thought is 50-50 right now. I like the way Lorcana is played, but sometimes I feel like it needs a side deck, not only for helping you to play against certain matches, but sometimes I feel like there are designed to be a side deck cards, right? We're talking about like Kronk, laid back is a dual inkle, is a purple green, and it's a ward. And it's an effect that will cause you to discard one or more cards you won't discard. If there is an effect that will make you discard one or more cards, you won't discard, right? The card is amazing. If we're talking about like right now, we are in a kind of like Prince John meta, right? But this card is a purple green that is uninkable and is 5, right? How likely are you to main that card in a big event, right? If you're playing a locals and then your friends or your teammates play this card, yeah, sure, you main it, right? Because it's gonna be like more than 50% chances that you're gonna play them, and it's gonna be useful, right? But if you go into a tournament that you're gonna play, 5 maybe 6 rounds, and you don't know what you're gonna get, this might be a dead card, and it's uninkable. So if you draw it, that's it, right? So yeah, we're talking about like cards like that that might be very useful with the use of side deck, right? So let's see what was the people opinion, right? We have a couple likes. We have an angry face right here, a happy face, and like 16 likes. So let's see what people think about this. Yes, most relevant is all comments. Let's gonna read all 68 comments. So say yes. We say no. Inking is sideboard. Debatable. Inking, it could be in a certain way. It could be a side, like you can make cards that you feel that your deck is weak against, right? And then if you play against a bad matchup, you just ink them. That is a true statement. But again, there are so many uninkable cards that I feel like they were made for side deck, right? That you will never main them. So with the rotation right now, those cards are never gonna be played, right? Unless it's just a specific, like random format, or like it's completely, it's gonna be completely like just pass over. So yeah, inking is a side deck. Not agree with that statement, but let's see what people think about it. Inking is okay. Inking is in sideboard. There is a lot of very good uninkable cards that are perfect sideboard cards. Yes, sort of true is a perfect example. Yeah, I was thinking there's something like Kronk. I think I have a couple of cards that like Under the Sea, right? Under the Sea is such a great card for green, but not every green deck main it, right? Unless we play. I think it's a couple decks that main it. I think most of the time is green paired with blue, right? Because you can rank up. Yeah, you can ink up really fast and go to 8, and you're trying to like play like big characters. So I guess aggro is really you're really weak against aggro. So Under the Sea is the right choice, right? But if you're playing a mean range, right, you don't want to just like ramp into like just to play Under the Sea, right? That's why we don't see this card play in any other color combinations. But it could be like a potential good card if you play in like, for example, green, red, green, right? And again, you're not gonna make the card, but if you play against like aggro deck, you're gonna side deck that card in. We talk about talk of the war. That card just came out after Bucky got errata, right? If we have a side deck, that card will be like probably play in the side deck if we are playing against the Bucky. Avalanche. This is one of my favorite cards. I main it for like a couple, couple tournaments. It did great, but again, if I wasn't playing against any purple deck, the card was like unplayable. It was like useless in my hand. So yeah, there is more cards that you can argue that it could be being played as a sideboard if we have a sideboard, of course. All right. Um, let's see. Perfect. Okay, one reply. Scalar Stewart agreed. I hate this argument. The two mechanics are not the same. Yeah, no, it's definitely not the same. A lot of people will say that the inking is a side deck, but it's definitely not. This is simply correct. That's like saying the card that you discard for an effect of Yu-Gi-Oh are sideboarding. No, they are not, and neither is inking. That is correct, right? If you're coming from a Yu-Gi-Oh background, yes, sometimes a card is dead, and if you deck discard, use discard as a resource, you're gonna discard that card, but that doesn't mean that card that you're maining is a sideboard card. It's a completely different thing. That is, I agree with that statement. Um, that is simply correct. Okay, we read this comment already. I was on this side for a while, but reality is that sometimes you must ink a brawl because your inkable tech card that turns out to be irrelevant for say matchup clock up on your hand. Yes, in that situation, it is an inkable card, right? You can main it, right? But the question is like, if we have cyborg, will you main brawl, right? Is that bro a mainable card if we have a cyborg? Maybe not, right? Maybe it's a cyborg card if you playing specifically against aggro, right? One pro is that it will make it less likely for one deck to become completely dominant because you can add options to swap into your deck when you play. Yeah, that's correct. It kind of balance. It could balance the meta. Uh, here. Okay. Or makes that deck even stronger. Um, uh, does the side deck make a deck stronger? It could, but most of the time, I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time you use the side deck just to counter either a really strong deck or a deck that you're weak against. Well, if a deck is completely dominant to the point where is this a concern, then probably reach a saturation where you want to just play the inkable tech in your main deck now. Yes, I will say like right now, even though like we fear this card, there is a diverse meta right now. I think pros yes, cons none. No, there is some cons. I believe that there's some cons concerned. We'll see. It says no. They already flipped the game on its head. No reason to beat a down horse. Okay, no, doesn't work with a two game for that. Ooh, I didn't thought about that. Yes, I forgot that. Big events. They only have two game formats. So I know for the Swiss, there's only two games, but the top eight we played 2 out of 3 matches. So one of the solution is that you made your cyborg for the top eight, right? So usually when you play Swiss, you play random. Well, Lorcana is not that wide yet, so the matches are kind of predictable. Only you play against somebody that's completely like cooking and he plays like 100% techs. But you usually know if you play against one deck after like 2 3 turns, you know what you're playing against, right? Um, so it probably will be kind of easy to know what is going to be in top 38, top 64, whatever it is the top cut, and then you can side deck for that. If I want Lurkana to be like every other TCG, I will play those TCGs. Um, I don't know. I don't know. That statement is weird because Lorcana borrows a lot from any other TCGs, especially Magic. I feel like the effects of Lorcana are really similar to Magic. Again, I'm not really savvy with Magic, but there is a reason we call Wheel to a whole new world, right? And again, I don't know more than 1% of Magic, and I know they call it wheel because most of my uh, teammates, or not teammates, but like the people on my locals play Magic, so they told me that's a wheel. So now we call it wheel, right? There's a lot of similar effects. I'm talking about a card effect, not mechanics, because inking is I'll say is unique to this game, but card effects, maybe colors, maybe like uh, color identities, right? We have the color that rounds, we have the color that burns, we have the color that controls, right? Stuff like that. So Lorcana borrows a lot from Magic, especially. So you can compare, right? But it's always gonna be like something similar. And sideboard is just it's not even a mechanic. It's just like a part of like I won't say a lot of TCGs, but like most TCGs play sideboard. It has set rotation, so it's just like every set rotation. It's just you know the way a TCG works. It's not like game mechanics. It's just TCG. Card banning might add that too. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be great too. Ravensburg has been so good at turning just the cards themselves in the recent release. Not at all. LOL. Lorcana can just go full sweaty and be just another flavor of the same pain cause system, or it can stay more casual and keep normies engaged. I think it's valid to want something different than the same MTG Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh platform all over again. Yeah, but no, it's correct. But I feel like um, Lorcana is flying, right? Uh, I think like after this, the next set after rotation, we enter into like really dangerous waters with crazy combos. I've been watching a lot of videos. I've been watching a lot of loops and OTKs, and I don't know. It feels like it's going to be like a crazy format after the next release. I believe even by the end of this format, I feel we're gonna see decks that we probably never seen before and strategies like crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Anyway, um, normies are living faster than they're coming. I don't know about that. You go start to back up your community. Community is growing. I would say like community always been like huge, but I had to agree that locals, especially in the northeast, are struggling. I'm not sure how is everybody else. The locals are really, really struggling right now with the amount of people they are playing. Um, like before, no, after the set champion, no, before and after the set championship, we're having like 3 people local, 4 people locals, and this been happening for the past month. So I don't know what's going on. I guess it's because we don't have any big events around this area. Like right, we talking about like we're talking about Florida, California. They have a huge event. They have huge payouts, so that incentivizes people just to keep playing Lorcana, right? But I think local like leagues are struggling. Locals are struggling a lot. Anyway, stateside no NZ. Also a few is bets is in the states. Products sit on the shelves and leaks are way down. Yeah, that's what I was saying. We live in Chicago and it's low minus a half of shop. It is slow in my area too. Like we only busy the week pre the week before any set championships. After the sub championships, it completely dies, right? Or if we have a 5K, which it really rarely happens, at least in my area, we have a good amount of people trying to test. But besides that, there's locals are like, I won't say dying, but it's really slow. Anyway, I can decide. I can't decide. Maybe only for game three. No, that would be really unfair for game three because we're talking about like somebody's gonna go first, somebody's gonna go second, and that doesn't really help. Help. I'm sorry. Maybe in small amounts like 5 cards. The only con I think is boarding in and out does not always make sense with new players. That's correct. Could lead to forgetting to take out cards or taking out too many cards. I don't think that's I don't think that's an issue, right? If we're talking about like 5, 10 cards, I don't think that's an issue. Like what we do in Yu-Gi-Oh, just we count our cards, right? Um, might lead to too many busted and inkable cards, making ink less impactful. Just my thought. Might lead to too many busted uninkable, but that's just like a player skill, I will say, right? It's there's the deck building skills, right? If you side deck too many uninkables, but that's what's gonna happen, right? If you there's a skills on side deck in and side deck out, right? Also building your deck and your side deck is a skill that you get through experience. That's pretty much it. No, but they need to get better at choosing what's uninkable. Niche that won't be used in the majority of the game should be inkable. I think yes, but it's really hard. It's really hard because people are smart. People figure out things that tester might not figure it out. Right? We have a really bright minds that create cool decks and interactions. Right? Maybe a card that they might think that it won't be impactful is completely broken, right? I'm not saying that they're bad when testing, but it happens. It happens on every game. Let's see. Super incorrect. No matter how niche a card is, as long as the effect is powerful enough, it should be uninkable. Yes and no. We have one more comment. Yes and no, and we can see that with Shark right now. Shark is an inkable card, and the card is insane, right? But the card is not considered a side deck card, right? It's considered a main deck card, and then you build a deck around that card, right? We're talking about side deck cards. I would say like side deck cards, most of them, not all of them should be uninkable, right? But again, we don't have side decks, so they're uninkable. They're good, but they are unplayable. It's okay. Next one says no because all the plebs on here will be throw a Heisy Fist. Fit. Sorry. Okay. No, the resource system allows for more choices in deck building. Sometimes your deck just won't do something, and that's okay. Um, as a competitive player, I would like to believe that if I build a deck, it should be able to counter as much as possible. Yes, a deck should have weakness. Weakness, yes, but that's how your deck's building skills should be flourish, right? Being able to counter everything. And again, sometimes it's not enough. That's why we're talking about the side deck, right? But oof, it is tough, right? You sometimes your deck just won't do something, and that's okay. I don't know how to take this comment. It won't do something as like having evasive, sure, right? Uh, won't do something that can be evasive. I don't think that should be a thing. Anyway, next comment. Absolutely not. Um, I'm one deck kind of a guy. No side deck here. Hmm. Says no. I don't know what that is, but most seems like think no. Um, I guess okay. Side deck. Side deck is a deck that you build besides your main deck, the 60 cards deck, and it usually goes from 15 cards to 20. Yu-Gi-Oh's 15. I know Magic. I did my research. This is between 15 and 25, I believe. Not 100% sure, but I know they have side deck, right? And then between games, we have game one, game two, game three. If we tie the second one, so whoever wins, game one, game two, after that the game, you're allowed to take out any amount of card of your side deck and put it in your main deck, but you have to take from your main deck the same amount of card that you put in before, right? So your side deck always going to be 15, no matter the match. So you can in between games you can side it out and side it in and out, right? But when you play the new match, right, your deck has to be like the original 60 cards, right? So the side deck helps you to, again, if you're playing against this card, right, maybe you want to put King Indisputed, right? More cards like removals, right? No targeting removals, right? That you in any other situation won't main because they're uninkable or they're not good against any like most of the matchup. So that's a side deck. That's what a side deck is. Again, no pros known. Cons 730 decks will become 9010 decks. Your inkwell is your side deck, sideboard. Just better take cards. Let's see. Except that a lot of the more powerful and specific tech cards are uninkable. Running 1 2 tech cards waters down the deck and affects your gameplay in other matchups. That's correct. If you want to increase 730 decks that's fine, but that's not worth seeing at the moment. Lorcana doesn't need sideboard, and most pros will agree. Deck building is one of the best in TCG market at the moment. I would like to know what pros believe. Oh, if we're talking about pros, they're going to side deck in the World Champion Tournament. But again, this is a conversation about like it should be or not. I would like to. I would like to, but against other people, no, and that's respect. I respect that opinion. At the end of the day, we are not the one deciding that. It's Ravensburger. Notice my post didn't actually say it needs a sideboard. It was just pointing out that running some tech cards, which is what a sideboard is for, doesn't typically work well in current deck building. There is exception, of course. Yep. Tech card will get better with power creep, at least for non-standard. Yep. You. I'm sure it'll come with time. Maybe. Um, Maybe a specific format. So far, there is only a few decks that benefit from that, and I still think will be help the game through. I think it will be help the game as well. I don't want to make waves, but if Lorcana wants to be taken seriously as a TCG, it needs to introduce sideboarding. Hmm. There are no negatives to sideboarding. I mean, I think the game is already being taken serious. I again, let's see. There are no tickets. I don't think it's negative things to sideboarding. I really don't believe it. The game is already taken serious. That's why we here talking about it. Let's see what the people say. It really depends on how hard they want to support best of two format. Again, yeah. Best of two format. I don't like that format either. But I know it speed the process of like finish the tournament fast enough, right? Uh, but yeah, best of two formats is impossible to side deck board. It will be unfair to use side deck on best of two, right? Because going first always have an advantage no matter what. Uh, hmm. But in top eight, side deck will be cool. Let's see. Depends of the size of the sideboard. 10 cards probably cool. 20 cards and your time deck color can change. That's correct. Plus the time between games will be longer, making tournaments longer. The two game format is both likely and disliked. Is both like and disliked. Three game format is cool but long, and then add sideboarding. Yeah, you should like we have this issue in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Sideboarding time. Is I think it's official that we have 3 minutes to do sideboard. But we know those kind of people that have used this thing, right? They have used time, and it it can become really annoying, right? To deal with that kind of people. Anyway, but this is correct. Like I think this is correct that it should be a small amount, like 10, because 20 can change the completely the deck, and we don't really want that, right? If we're playing against a green discard, we want to keep playing a green discard, right? If we're playing against blue steel items, we want to keep playing against blue steel items. We don't want my opponent to side deck 20 cards and now it's like aggro, right? um that's my personal thing, right? If we put in less cards, more likely the 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 essence of the deck we're playing against, it won't change. Okay. I completely disagree with this. Go play Magic if you want that type of experience. Okay. Yes. Okay. It will have been better at that rotation. I agree. I don't like rotation. I do not like rotation. I have rotation in Hearthstone, but it's different because I can craft, like I can disenchant my cards that I'm no longer user. So it's always value on them, right? But in a card game, it's just my cards, my lovely cards, I won't be able to play. And a lot of people will say like just play Eternal format, but that's not gonna be the competitive format. So that's not an option for me. That's not fun for me. I'll say that that's more for casual, and I don't consider myself a casual player. Yes, no, it's kind of like 50. I would say like it's 60-40. I'll say like more people disagree with the cyborg, which I'm kind of surprised. Like I'm wondering if the people that says no have ever played a TCG with cyborg. Um, I will guess they haven't, right? Because it's not really like I haven't find a person that play a TCG game with cyborg and has complained about cyborging, right? I'm not sure like what MTG players think about cyborging, if they are on board of it or they hate it. I know at least in TCG, I would say like 99.9% of the people like cyborging. Um, Pokemon, they don't have cyborging. Hearthstone, um, they don't have cyborging. But when you play Hearthstone, it's a best of one game. If you play ladder, the same as. Okay, so if we're talking about like Yu-Gi-Oh, you play Master Duel. It's best of one, and a lot of people hate that. A lot of people hate the fact that they can play a best of two, best of three. I'm sorry, and have a sideboard. I will say like a lot of people hate that. I personally don't like that. So again, I'm not sure if people that don't agree with sideboarding ever played sideboard before. Okay, we have another statement. You can already have your sideboard in your deck as other inkable cards, so no need for side deck. Sure. No, people begging for a sideboard are asking for a crutch. Disagree. Yawn. No, I don't know how you can do it with the best of two format, and people have hard enough time as just finish against through my son. I think that time for every card game is the same. No, like it's always tough to finish best of three unless it's a really aggro format. It's always gonna be like time. It's always gonna be like an issue. I would probably prefer to see a draw to one ink style change first, like SWU has. It gives you more options, lets you use tech cards easier, reduce hand break, will allow more flexible deck building, and lower reliance on card draw mechanics. Will also make this card a bit less punishing and break mill up as a viable strategy. Some cards might need to change speed, of course, but I would like to see that more than sideboarding at this stage. See that more than okay. We'll see if post rotation will make enough of a difference. Enough, yeah, yeah. We think we waiting for a post rotation to see how the game is gonna look. All new additions to the game should be play tested before being announced. Yeah, I mean some strategies just shoot down, others getting Pete loop while playing the steel song was annoying. Yeah, yeah. That's another thing. Like you're playing against Pete. If you're playing a steel song, maybe you want to side deck more aggro or more like less songs and more like control. I don't know. More like big characters, I guess. I don't know. It adds a layer to deck building, definitely. Same as DLC are a game of two format, Cyborg will not work anyways. Yes, that's correct. Not with how the game gameplay is organized, and I don't miss it. I will play a magic event if I have the urge to do something or something. It's not about urging. I don't think it's about urging. Deck building is what I enjoy most, and it's more fun when you don't just play all four of the best card in a vacuum. We'll see a lot less variation probably as some colors just have more options. That's correct. Right now, like the best, if we're talking about side deck, the best colors will be like I believe red and steel, but that will make that will force Ravensburger to create better cars and maybe side deck cars. Unlikely Magic, which has 25 mandatory cards, Lorcana has 60 cards that all do something. You can solve meta choices in those 60, and you should. Yeah, but like we have one comment before, like sometimes your deck can do, it's not enough to do everything, I guess. Just put a time limit. There's already a time. Yeah, 3 minutes usually it is. That's what the ink well is for. Let's not add more time to the game. The ink well is for side decking. I think it depends on the way tech cards are implemented. For example, I find flatten flatten them is a great tech card against an item heavy meta, but it's unplayable when the concentration of item tech is low. Correct. You can still take if you want as an inkable for the matchups. You don't need, but you can have a sideboard 20 and still heavy meta. Now you just made any strategy pretty terrifying to run because everyone can just throw two of this and now you're gambling. Only if they can hit it after game one. I think sideboard is like kind of more unnecessary as long as focus. Well, that creates like that's what creates mind games, right? Um, as a player, you play heavy items and you play against steel. You know what's coming, right? So what is gonna be your sideboard? Your sideboard is gonna be like plays less items and more like controlage, more like stuff like that. Again, we are early in the game, right? We don't have that kind of like mind games and like counter strategies or counter side deck. Um, a concept in Yu-Gi-Oh says I'm countering my opponent's side deck. So I side against my opponent's side deck, and Lorcana doesn't have that yet. Oh, at least again we don't have sideboarding, but I don't think you have enough card to be able to do that. So again, it adds another layer to mind games, to deck building, to all that kind of stuff. All right, now to simplify why red and steel will be the red and steel will be the premier secondary colors to take for their sideboarding ability, providing removal in various ways. Just think more and build a better main deck when going to play the game competitively. Yeah, again, right now I think those are the best colors to sideboarding. Say yes. For example, MTG, you need between 18 and 27 lands in your 60 card deck. Okay, so in theory, you have an 18-27 spot in your Lorcana deck to have situational answers. But people prefer building decks that are very greedy, fashion for consistency. That should come with acceptance that you'll have matchup without answers. Yep. You choose a sideboard, then control decks will likely never lose a match ever again, as they could easily pivot to me. Against lower matchups, basically, not have. I don't know about that. We already have a sideboard and extra X20 is in the deck. One game, people just need to stop being greedy with their deck, with the deck building. If we have side deck, only control deck will win. Well, again, I'm not too savvy about MTG, but they have side deck, and I'm pretty sure they have formats when control is pretty good and when aggro is pretty good. So I don't think deck building is it will favor a certain type of strategy. Hmm, I don't know. Short answer is no. Okay. Yeah, sideboard will make it not so going for making no so going first heavy. It definitely helps going second. It definitely helps going second. Like you, are you gonna side deck board more rush characters to try to control the board? More like spell controls, item control, right? Just to try to counter your opponent's board because they're going first. All right, Richard says no. It says Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, and no. Okay, so also like after reading this, it's like it's 70% people says no, and like 30% people says yes. So most of people don't want to side it, which I'm surprised. Again, Um, if you believe Lorcana needs a cyborg, let's just let me know. I like to, I love to read the people's opinion. It opens my mind to new ideas and stuff. As of right now, again, I would love to have side deck, but I don't think it's a thing that is completely necessary right now. Uh, as I said at the beginning of the video, I would like to try cars that I feel they're gonna be rotated without never being like played. Uh, that's more likely why I would like to have a side deck. And that's about it. I mean, if we don't have a side deck, I guess it's okay. We already used to the way Lorcana is played, which I love. I love playing Lorcana. But again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked the video. Just don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me comments. I like to read you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.